So, the inmates have spoken, and I opened a stack of inmate letters expecting the usual stuff, complaints, requests, the day-to-day grind. But instead, I ran into something weirdly uplifting. 7 guys, out of many, from one of the hardest blocks in New York, all saying the same thing. Diddy showed up and turned dead time into class time. Not a fan club, not fluff. Actual notes to a federal judge about attitude shifts, routines, and a thing they call free game. I'm reading about gold lists on commissary paper, dudes swapping vocabulary words, and a unit that went from edge-of-your-seat tense to, hey, let's actually fix our lives. Like, wild, right? Look, I'm not here to preach. I'm here to tell you what these men wrote, straight, simple, and in their own words. If half of this sticks, it says more about change than any press conference. Now, quick reality check. The praise doesn't buy a discount. A calmer unit and a tidy routine don't erase heavy allegations. Courts aren't swayed by vibes, only evidence. If the facts hit, the sentence should hit too. If they don't, say it and move. Truth first, everything else is noise. No exceptions. And also subscribe, yeah? So, Arturo's version, no programs until now. Arturo's letter hits like a sigh you can hear on paper. He's been inside for years, did the hard grind, even grabbed his GED, and still says the worst part isn't the bars, it's the nothing. No real programs, days that blur, guys pacing grooves into the floor. Then he writes about this switch. A Friday talk turns into a routine. They start a class with a blunt name, free game. And suddenly, he's not just counting time, he's counting small wins. He talks about the unit feeling lighter, fewer flare-ups, more head nods, a little good morning where there used to be silence. Sounds tiny? In there, tiny is huge. What stood out was how practical it got. Goal lists, personal deadlines. Do this today, not next week. He makes it clear this wasn't worship, it was work. Show up, speak up, stick to it. He's not begging the judge for magic. He's saying, we finally have something that keeps us steady. And that's the line that hooked me, because routine beats chaos every single time. Now, Didier's note reads like a checklist you actually want to finish. He isn't writing poetry. He's the guy who keeps the unit tidy so his brain lives in steps and schedules. He says the whole thing sparked after a quick Friday huddle. Not some dramatic speech, just we're doing this, and everyone showed up. From there, he maps out goals the way you'd plan a grocery run. Simple, specific, doable. Learn 5 English words a day. Write them, use them, teach one to someone else. Tomorrow, repeat. That's it. No shiny app, no pep talk, just small bricks stacking into a wall. He also talks about deadlines. Not the scary kind, the helpful kind. This week, I learned these words. This month, I finished this book. And the unit starts copying the rhythm. Guys swap vocab like they're trading cards. One person reads, another does push-ups, and someone else journals. You can almost feel time bending a bit, less drag, more momentum. What sold me is the tone. He's not bragging, he's not asking for a trophy. He's saying, give me structure and I'll build on it. And that made me wonder, if habits spread this fast, what happens to the vibe? Next, we talk culture. And I've seen enough prison stories to know the default setting. Low trust, short tempers, eyes up, mouth shut. These letters flip that picture. The way they describe it, the unit used to feel tight, like every hallway breath could spark a dumb argument. Then, the class becomes a thing, and suddenly the little rituals change. Guys start saying, you good? And actually mean it. Someone finishes a chapter and passes the book instead of the side-eye. You get fewer loud standoffs and more quiet handoffs, pens, notes, vocab even a quick "my bad" that would have been a full-blown beef a month ago. What gets me isn't a big dramatic scene. It's the boring wins, less noise, cleaner day room, faster cooldowns. Someone messes up, another guy nudges him back on track. Hit your list, bro. Respect stops being this heavy word and turns into tiny habits. Show up on time, listen, Don't clown the guy who's trying. And when that becomes normal, the whole block breathes easier. So yeah, culture can move, but talk is cheap unless you lock it into a routine. Next, I'm digging into how they turned good vibes into structure that sticks. Here's where it gets real. You can feel the shift from nice idea to we actually run this. The letters describe a simple loop: quick check-ins, short goals, clear deadlines. Morning, review your list. Afternoon, knock off one hard thing. Night, write 2 lines about what worked and what went sideways. No fancy workbook, just repetition. And once the rhythm sets in, the clock stops dragging. Time used to push them around, now they push back. A guy who never finished anything suddenly tracks pages read, words learned, reps done. Another one sets a no blow-ups streak and guards it like it's gold. Even the latecomers slide in because the rules are easy. Show up, add 1 brick, don't mock effort. The sneaky part is accountability. Not from officers, from peers. Miss a day, someone taps your shoulder. Reset. Start now. That gentle pressure matters. It keeps the routine alive when motivation dips. And that's the tell. If a program survives a bad mood, it's got legs. But structure is one thing. Ego can wreck it. So, did the celebrity energy mess it up or make it work? This is the piece I triple read. You expect the famous guy to stand apart, talk big, then disappear. The letters paint the opposite. No grand entrance, no I'm special discount. Just a man in the circle, giving examples, taking questions, and not ducking the awkward ones. When someone slips off topic, he reels it back. When a guy tries to turn it into a fan moment, he steers it to goals. That tone sets the rule. This isn't a show, it's practice. So, little moments stack. He listens more than he talks, he gives homework he's willing to do himself, and he keeps the floor open so the quiet dude shares too. And because there's zero flex, nobody feels clowned for trying. That removes the #1 killer of progress inside, shame. Once you cut that, people test themselves in public, read out loud, admit they're stuck, ask for help. Respect stops being this loud word and starts being steady. Does that vibe stick after the first week, though? Let's look at outcomes, not speeches. If you want receipts, look at routines. The letters talk about small, trackable stuff. Pages read per night, words logged per day, push-ups between chapters, a 2-minute breath before a hot conversation. Nothing flashy, just dials turned 1 click at a time. And the copycat effect is strong. One guy's reading streak becomes a group thing. Someone logs 5 new words, the next person goes for 6. A dude who used to blow up over nothing tries the pause trick, and the room stays calm. That's free progress. They also mention sharing tools. One man keeps word cards and passes them around. Another keeps a cheap notebook and runs a quick, "How'd your day go?" at night. A third tracks no incident days like he's protecting a record. These micro wins don't look like much on paper, but inside, they're the whole game. You're building a version of yourself you can trust. So, what do you ask a judge to do with that? Last voice, then the big question. The closing notes all hit the same chord. This isn't a fan letter, it's an ask to weigh character where it matters, behind the noise, inside the unit. They talk about a seed, not a miracle. A seed needs time, space, and consistency. That's why they underline the routine, the humility, the daily proof. They're basically saying, if you're judging the person, judge the pattern we live with. They're not wiping away the past. They're pointing at the present, a block that runs smoother, men who hold themselves together, and a class that doesn't need a mic to work. And there's a quiet bravery in putting your name to that. Inside, co-signing anything can paint a target. Still, they wrote. That tells you the effect wasn't just warm and fuzzy. It felt safe enough and useful enough to protect. Even if you love or hate the man, the seed exists. The question is what you do with it. So, here's where I land. All these letters, same theme, different angles. I went in expecting spin and came out reading habits. That's what sold me, Not big claims, small receipts. When programs are scarce, one working class isn't a headline, it's oxygen. And the oxygen wasn't fame, it was structure. Show up, set one goal, track it, share it, repeat. That's the heartbeat of change anywhere, but it's louder where hope is thin. I'm not asking you to cheer. I'm asking you to look at what these men wrote without filters. If even half of this is true, then the story isn't Diddy in custody. It's men finding a groove that keeps them human. That sticks with me, because the best measure of character isn't what you say about yourself. It's what people living next to you say when nobody's watching. If you were the judge reading those pages, would you weigh them? I would, in a way. Now, let me be clear. Good deeds inside don't erase heavy claims outside. I can respect the class, the habits, the calmer unit, and still say accountability matters. Two ideas can live in the same room. If a person is facing serious charges and a mountain of accusations, the system has to do its job. Facts tested, witnesses heard, verdict reached. If he's found guilty, he should do time. Simple. You don't get a community service in prison coupon because guys liked your lessons. That's not how justice works. I'm not here to swing pom-poms or light a torch. I'm saying weigh both sides like an adult. The praise shows character growth and impact. The case, if proven, demands consequences. Period. Courts aren't TikTok. They don't care about vibes. They care about evidence, timelines, and law. So yeah, celebrate structure, but don't confuse it with a shortcut. Rehabilitation is a lane. Responsibility is another. Real life needs both. And here's the hard line from me. If the facts land hard, then time should land hard too. If they don't, then say so on paper and move on. Either way, truth first. Everything else is noise.